Maybe I'm crazy, but Game of Thrones has jumped the shark.
Is that the phrase you're going to use?
Yes.
Okay. I mean,
just jump the dragon.
Sucks.
It's become very obvious they are no longer writing from the book.
Yeah, no, they're trying to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Quickly, they're like this. Okay.
All-encompassing.
All right.
We're gonna let everything happen at once. It took me some time emotionally to process everything that happened Sunday night, and that's where I've landed. I tried to be the resistance, but I couldn't do it.
I watched the second episode. I watched the episode again last night, and I was like, what did I expect? Like,
no.
what did you expect?
You thought you'd see new things? We'll talk about it later in depth, but yeah, that's how I feel right now.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm not.
Welcome to the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. That is Brandon Newman.
Hola.
I regret not wearing a jacket today.
Why?
It's a bit chilly in here.
It's like rainy and gloomy. It's been kind of gloomy in LA.
It can't decide what it wants to be.
People don't want to talk to me. Like I get trash.
Yeah, you should.
Flack when I talk about the weather here.
We can talk about the weather now. It's May. Like it's nice most places now.
Yes, and it is gloomy and there was some weather. We had some weather this weekend.
Yeah. It wasn't always sunny.
Yes.
In California.
Amen. There you go.
Marques Johnson.
Yes.
OG, UCLA legends.
Old school 888.
Bucks legends. TV analyst for the Bucks. He is very pro Giannis.
Yep.
Which I have been pro Giannis. I've just been a little skeptical of the Bucks this year, but we will talk to him about the Bucks and Raptors series. We'll talk to him about the Western Conference, the finals, Lakers, and what might happen with Zion tonight. So he joins us. We're going to talk about NFL power team rankings because you know how I love a good list. Pizza scissors.
Shuts out.
And this amazing Snapchat gender swap filter, which really has just elevated my self-esteem to a whole nother level, which I needed. The Rockets, silly process. The Saints still will not shut the bleep up about that call, if you can believe it. And Terry Rozier is selling everything. He is spilling all the tea. For Petty Court this week. But let's start with Marques Johnson. All right, Marques Johnson, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey.
He is currently a Bucks analyst, but of course a UCLA legend, played under the Wizard of Westwood, John Wooden, 5-time NBA All-Star, and friend, basically family.
Squad.
Is what you
UCLA,
are. Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Joy. Good being here.
Thanks for joining us. So we got to be honest with you. I will be honest with you. I wasn't a huge believer. Although I very much like Giannis, I was not a huge believer in the Bucks this year. I felt like they were going to do a little Raptors-esque, be great regular season team, and then get to the playoffs and be a huge disappointment. We're all fools. Why exactly do you think that everyone nationally sort of doubted the Bucks this year?
Well, I think a lot of that was because of the way they looked at the Bucks' usage of three-point shot and, you know, how borderline gimmicky it was. You can do that if you're Houston and you've got a James Harden who can score 35 points a game and knock down a lot of those points from behind the three-point line. For us, our superstar is Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he averages, about 17, 18 points at the rim per game. And so the thought process, Joy, was that in the playoffs, the game slowed down into a half-court game. Teams would pack it in on the inside, build that wall, like we saw the Celtics do in Game 1 against the Bucks, and that Giannis's effectiveness would be severely curtailed. And so that's kind of was the prevailing wisdom going into the playoffs. But, Rudy Tomjanovich talked about, never discounting the heart of a champion. Well, Giannis Antetokounmpo's got that kind of a heart, and he is so relentless that he just basically wears down your defense, and especially with the style of up-tempo transition basketball. We were number one transition team in the league in terms of the amount of times we like to get out and run. And so that just kind of wears you down defensively. But hey, I ain't mad at you. I understand it. Everybody, a lot of people. Ryan Hollins is another good buddy of ours. He's another guy that talked about us being tossed to the side by Boston. So it's a lot of people that felt that same way, and it's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I did say that he was the MVP all year, so I'll give myself credit in that regard. He was the MVP.
Well, thank you for that. Well, thank you.
Yeah, he was definitely the MVP.
For you on that one.
Right, but so we know Giannis is going to be great. He's going to have to be great, but what is the rest of the team going to have to do to not only get through this Eastern Conference Finals, but do whatever they need to do in the West if they make it there. Or in the finals against the West.
Well, look, Toronto is no joke. They were 5th in offensive and defensive rating. The Bucks were the number 1 team defensively, I think 4th in offense. So both teams are really balanced in terms of being difficult to score against and to stop from scoring. And then in Toronto, you've got Kawhi Leonard, who's averaging 33, 34 points a game against a very good Philadelphia Sixer team. And we saw what he did in Game 7. So that's going to be the biggest challenge of how you deal with him. And Kawhi's offensive game on paper is perfectly suited to attack what the Bucks like to do defensively. They'll give up mid-range shots. The Bucks, well, they gave up more mid-range shots, I think, than anybody in the league this year, cutting down shots at the rim and cutting down high-quality looks. And that's corner threes during the season. Gave up a lot of threes, but 77% of those were from the break line. They weren't from the corners. And so with a guy like Kawhi, to answer your question, dealing with Kawhi, the Kawhi factor, how do you deal with him? Chris Middleton is going to be key. I've been watching video of the two teams and how they played this season, and the Bucks did a really solid job, Chris Middleton in particular, of denying Kawhi the basketball, making shots tough. When he comes off ball screens, doing a rear view contest, standing behind him and kind of getting a hand into his space to make him feel you, and hopefully that'll throw up his shot. So it's not going to be easy. This is a great basketball team. The Raptors are. These two teams have been the 2 top teams in the East all season long, and it's just sort of fitting that they meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. But it's got to be great defense once again, especially against the alpha dog of the Raptors, Kawhi Leonard.
Well, that said, you are going to have to find something for Kawhi because he's been incredible. But I did not like what I saw from the rest of the Raptors at the end of that Game 7. Nobody wanted to shoot. Siakam didn't even want to look at the rim. It was like if he looked at it, he would turn into stone. Yes. So what do the Raptors have for Giannis? Like, who do they have for Giannis?
Well, we hope nobody. That's our hope. And I agree with you. It's funny watching that game because I was looking at Siakam and just the look in his eyes and just and I won't call it fear. I won't go that far, but it was some reticence there.
Yeah.
To really kind of take over or do anything aggressively with the basketball. And against the Bucks, this dude has just been a nightmare. He's been the one guy on their team. He's been better than Kawhi against us this season when we played them. And a lot of times he's matched up against Giannis, and he showed no fear in that one-on-one matchup. I think he had 28 points the last time we played him back on January 31st. But that being said, they're going to need Kyle Lowry to be the Bulldog, North Philly Kyle Lowry that he was in the late stages of that Philly game. If he's not knocking down shots to do the other things, get some charges, get some steals, play good, solid defense, he's going to have his hands full with Eric Bledsoe. And it matches up really well with Kyle Lowry, and Bledsoe's ability to beat him off the dribble is going to be key for us. So that's going to be a big key. In terms of Giannis defensively, Serge Ibaka is probably the guy that will get the bulk of the minutes against Giannis defensively. He's got the size, the strength. He's a pretty fleet of foot in terms of trying to keep Giannis in front of him. But again, the Bucks do such a great job of forcing cross matches, other guys having a match up with Giannis because we get out in transition so much. So, look, Nick Nurse has shown himself to be a very, very capable basketball coach. He's got to come up with some type of defensive strategy. I suppose it will be the same strategy that most teams have used against Giannis, playing physical, playing aggressive, trying to break the ball out of his hands, show him a wall of 3 and 4 defenders every time he comes down the floor. And so that being said, it's imperative for our big guys, Brook Lopez and Ilyasova and Niko Mirotic and Chris Middleton, to knock down 3-point shots. And that's one of the reasons having Malcolm Brogdon back and getting healthier every day, I think it's going to be a big boost for us in terms of what we do offensively.
Okay, so moving forward, I'm picking the Bucks to play in the finals. What I think will be against the Warriors. You talked about a lot of guys for the Bucks. I'm a Pat Connaughton guy. I graduated from Notre Dame, so I'm always looking for him to do something. Obviously, deeper in the finals, you get 7 guys that are really going to be the guys that are going to be playing. Who's somebody for the Bucks that are going to give the Warriors fits in the finals?
Well, so you want me to skip ahead, then, man? You
went down the list. You said all the guys. I feel like
I can do that. And we played the Warriors well this year. They beat us, I think, in Milwaukee. We got them out in Oakland, but matched up pretty well with them. It depends, obviously, on Kevin Durant, what his status is at the time, and he's a nightmare matchup for anybody in the league. So, that's just a tough guard. But for us, you mentioned Pat Connaughton. Our bench has been as solid as any bench in the league. We totally outplayed the Boston bench, and that was one of the strengths going into the Boston series was that the depth of the Celtics with Rozier and Jaylen Brown, if he didn't start, or Gordon Hayward, if he was coming off the bench. That was one of the things that really concerned us, Marcus Smart, in terms of his availability. But we just dominated that Celtics bench. The Warriors are not a deep basketball team, so I think that the better job that we can do of making them play at a fast pace and getting to their shooters, Thompson, the Splash Brothers, and obviously Steph, gives us a better chance of hanging with them and having some success. I think teams that can attack the rim against the Warriors, they don't have that rim protector inside. We've got the greatest rim attacker in all of basketball in Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I think that gives us an opportunity right there to make things a little bit more even against this great basketball team. Their advantage, they've been there with the last 3 or 4 years, whatever it's been. They've been in the finals so consistently over the last few years that they know how to deal with the pressure and everything else it takes to be a champion. Right now, this basketball team in Milwaukee, we're still kind of learning that process.
What do you call them, the bench mob?
Bench mob. That's what Pat Connaughton says. That don't call them a second unit. The bench mob is more of a promotion than a promotion. Second unit is like a demotion.
Right.
That's that Notre Dame thing, man.
Next level.
I love that. All right, so skipping over to that series, I'm very excited about that series. The Blazers, I've been hoping that it was going to be the Blazers in the Western Conference Finals because I love watching C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard play together. I think they're a fun, aggressive team. I don't know how they I didn't know how they matched up against the Warriors with Kevin Durant, but I'm assuming that Kevin Durant is not going to be back for this series. I know people are being optimistic, but he hasn't even stepped on the court yet, according to Steve Kerr. So let's just assume he's out. How do you think this series goes? 'Cause I think a lot of people are automatically writing the Blazers off, and I think they match up pretty well.
Yeah, no, I mean, whenever you've got two guards, as you mentioned, in McCollum and Lillard that are capable of going off for 40, they're going to put you and keep you in games, especially in a half-court type of a situation like a Western Conference or an Eastern Conference final. So who can create their shots off the dribble? Who can create separation? Who can create space? McCollum has shown that he's as good as anybody in the league in doing that. We know Dame Lillard can do that. So that's going to be a huge key. It's going to be the other guys, the Evan Turners and some of these other guys for the Blazers, how well they're able to kind of step up under that pressure. And again, that's the one thing to not take for granted is the fact that the Blazers, I think a couple of years in a row, they've been bounced in the first round. And right now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm usually a big believer in kind of incremental progress, and that, it's like the Bulls having to go through the Pistons and the Pistons having to go through the Celtics before you get your breakthrough. Can the Blazers get their breakthrough against the Warriors? Well, without Kevin Durant, that gives them a lot better chance than with Kevin Durant if he's playing for Golden State. But a lot of it's going to be on the support players. I think Dame Lillard, C.J. McCollum, both will do their thing, be effective, but who else will be able to give them the kind of point production that they're going to need? And then, defending Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, I mean, these are all-stars. These are Hall of Fame type players. How well the Blazers are able to handle them. The good thing for the Blazers, they played them enough over the years. They're familiar with them. There'll be no surprises. Terry Stotts, who I worked with in Seattle when I was a broadcaster. He was an assistant coach for George Karl. He's one of the bright, I won't say young minds. He's as old as I am, so he's not young anymore, but he's one of the bright minds in basketball, and I expect that this will be a very competitive series.
Do you think that Steph Curry gets a little, it's tough to say overlooked because it is Steph Curry, but I feel like this game that he had against the Rockets, going scoreless in the first half and coming back and really just ending all doubts with Kevin Durant being out, is kind of a nice reminder. Like, yeah, Steph Curry is really a transcendent all-time great player that kind of got buried with Kevin Durant coming to the Warriors.
Well, that's a great observation, and that's I mean, you took like the thought right out of my mind when I'm watching this team play during the playoffs, and Durant's busting 40s, and I look and see that Steph has 18 or 21 or whatever it is, at 13, I think, one game when Durant had the big game, and I think that's why, and I won't say without Durant that's a bonus by any stretch of the imagination. But now we're going to see old school Warriors pre-Durant years, when it's all about the Splash Brothers and they've got the ball in their hands, and we'll be reminded, like we were in Game 7, Steph Curry is, what, a 2-time MVP? I mean, we're gonna be reminded just how good Steph Curry is, I think, in this series, especially if Kevin Durant is not available. Kevin Durant is one of the transcendent offensive players in the history of this game. The things he's able to do at his size, almost 7 feet, shoot the ball, put it on the floor, score at will. And for me, watching the Warriors has become boring because they're just too good. They got too many weapons. You just can't stop them all. At some point, something's got to give, and it's normally or usually Durant kind of shooting over a smaller defender. But right now, this makes things a little bit more interesting, a little bit more competitive.
Amen.
And as you mentioned, Joy, I think it gives Steph Curry a chance to kind of reassert himself as one of the top 2 or 3 players in the league. I think there's been a little slippage the last couple of years, and it's been primarily because of the existence of Kevin Durant in that offense and his ability, his efficiency, and his ability to put points on the board.
Yeah, I'm excited for both these series. So also tonight is the ping pong ball lottery, which could a specific bounce could change the next 10 years of the NBA, at least for one franchise it will. What do you think of Zion? Everybody has, it almost feels like it's taboo to be critical of anything that Zion is because he's such a phenom and he just plays with happiness and it just makes you love. He made Duke lovable. Okay. Right. So he's basically a messiah at this point. But, there are some questions about his size and how does his game translate to the NBA. What do you think of Zion first and where would you like to see him go?
Well, I mean, my only question with a guy like that, and it was similar to Charles Barkley at 6'5" when he was about 280. Just, how much of a pounding can his skeletal take with that much weight and with that much athleticism? What goes up must come down.
Right.
And that's a lot of poundage on that skeletal system. So how long will the back and the knees be able to absorb that poundage before he has to think about maybe dropping a few pounds? Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. He seems to be real comfortable playing at whatever weight where he is, 260, 270, whatever it is. The thing that I watch when I watch Zion, his explosiveness is off the charts. We know all about that, the dunks and everything else. But it's those finishes off of contact going to the basket. It's that soft touch and the ability to float by a defender, not get an offensive foul, still find that angle on the backboard, soft little kiss off the glass and finish. He is so good at that, and he can use both hands in doing so. We saw him in the playoffs when things got tight for Duke. His ability to step out and knock down 3-pointers under pressure really kind of surprised me. I've seen him do it throughout the regular season on occasion, but in the pressure of a playoff game, to be able to do that and knock down those shots consistently was really impressive. So I'm really, really high on Zion Williamson. I think he's going to be an outstanding player. And the pro game is better suited for a lot of guys. When I came out of college, I was a guy whose game was better suited in transition up and down basketball where athleticism becomes more of a factor. When Zion gets up into the NBA with that fast-paced up and down type of transition basketball that's played a lot in this league, I think he's going to be even more effective than what we saw at Duke. A lot more open court situations for him to use that size, that strength, that athleticism. So, I mean, yeah, he to me, hands down, is going to be, I believe, a really, really solid to outstanding player in this league.
Well, based on your assessment, which is a great one, got me excited to watch Zion in the NBA again. Where do you want to see him go and why?
Well, give me some options. What we got? We got the Knicks.
The Knicks, Cavaliers, and the Suns have the highest percentage at 14%, and then it goes Bulls, Hawks, Wizards, and then down from there.
The Cavaliers side, Jim Beeline from Michigan, who is an outstanding defensive coach, young team. I don't know if I'd like to see him between those two teams. I think I'd probably prefer him matched up with Monty Williamson and the good young talent that they've got down in Phoenix, just to keep the pressure away from him just a bit. I mean, same thing would happen in Cleveland, but let Zion experience some warm weather and a coach that may be better suited for his personality right at this stage. I'm not, and that's no knock on Beeline. I don't know him, don't know his coaching style in terms of what he's like in a practice situation, but it's tough. It's 6 in one hand, half a dozen the other. I can't really commit to one or the other as being a better situation for him between those two. I mean, the only thing that would, I think, kind of shake things up is if the Knicks kind of got back into the conversation some sort of way, and he fell into their laps, and that would really make things interesting.
Well, finally, before we let you go, we got to ask you about the guy who used to run the NBA, who was LeBron, how quickly that changed. We're out in LA, so we're in the midst of this, I don't even know what to call it, disaster with the Lakers, everything that's going on over there. What do you think the Lakers need to do? Because I have a lot of opinions about the Lakers, and we could talk for the next, 3 hours about it. But for me, my frustration lies in that, LeBron is in what feels like a twilight of his career. And I was very excited for him to come to the Lakers and get the Lakers back to prominence. And it feels like, the front office is doing everything they can to keep us from that happiness. So I don't know what has to change or what they need to do. But what are your thoughts on the Lakers where they stand right now?
Well, look, Frank Vogel is an outstanding coach, and I had a chance to watch him with his good teams in Indiana. Those Pacer teams were really solid. I think they got to an Eastern Conference Finals one year. We don't talk so much about Orlando. That was a kind of a rebuild situation for him. But you think about his Pacer teams, and they were very, very competitive. Maybe didn't play with the most freedom offensively that you would like, but then that's why I think that's one of the reasons why you have Jason Kidd on board with Frank Vogel. I think that's a really good combination. I know a lot of people are second guessing that, saying Jason Kidd wanted to run the show in Brooklyn and Milwaukee. Well, I never got any sense of that in Milwaukee with Jason Kidd, and I watched Jason Kidd as a coach with the Bucks, and I'm not one of those guys that had a huge knock on him. I thought he was progressing where he was supposed to be in terms of coaching trajectory and the lack of experience that he had as a head coach. I think he was in his 4th or 5th year when he was let go by the Bucks. And so I think the combination of those two, Jason Kidd working with Lonzo Ball, Jason Kidd being able to relate to LeBron James and kind of contemporaries and being able to talk to him when necessary. It may not be necessary, who knows. But I think that's a step in the right direction. Frank Vogel is just one of those solid NBA hires that the Lakers have made. Yeah, everybody wanted Tyronn Lue to come in because of his prior relationship with LeBron. Didn't work out. But I think the Lakers did themselves about as good as they could do with this hire when they couldn't come to terms with Lue. In terms of overall, they've got some good young talent. I think talent is always the thing that you've got to put around LeBron. Shooting. Cleveland was so good with LeBron because of Korver, because of Smith, because of all these Kevin Love, all these guys that could stretch the floor and knock down three-point shots. The Lakers are not good in that area, and that's one of the things they've got to look to really improve upon right away is bring more shooting on this team with LeBron and kind of see what happens. You remember when LeBron got hurt in December, I think the Lakers were 4th or 5th in the Western Conference. Mm-hmm. And when Ball went down, they were still in the playoff hunt. And so those injuries, you just cannot discount the devastation that those injuries had on this team's ability to get to the playoffs. Those two guys don't get hurt. This is the 4th or 5th seed, and maybe a home court advantage in the playoffs. And with LeBron, anything can happen. But it was just one of those situations. And Joy, you pointed to it. He's at a stage of his career where he was just due to have something go wrong. You can't fight Father Time and win every single season. This was a season for him to go through his injuries. I think next year he'll come back even stronger, more focused mentally, and a better person and player for having gone through what he went through this year.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Ooh. Before we let you go, I do want to mention that you can still dunk. Marcus can still dunk.
What?
He has a great Instagram follow. What is your Instagram?
My Instagram is oldschool888. Now, I can still dunk, but see, I have to pull a Tom Brady on the basketball. I had to deflate the ball just to make it a little bit easier. That's one of the things that I've lost, a little hand strength.
Of course.
My legs are still pretty much intact, and I can get up there and get it over the rim. So, yeah, I can dunk, but I did a little Tom Brady with the basketball. I got to fess up that.
Yeah, you didn't have to qualify it. Nobody knew that. We saw it. It was impressive.
Everybody thinks, that rim was 9 feet. No, the rim was probably 10 feet, 11 and a half inches. Right. The ball a little deflated. But, hey, I'm 63 years old. What do you want?
I ain't lost that athleticism yet, huh?
Well, it's just when I land.
Well,
concrete. I feel every day of that 63 years old.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's a good follow. Old School 888. I think is it the same on Twitter as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so follow Marcus on there. Thank you for joining us. Good luck to the Bucks in the playoffs. And next time you're in LA, we'll hope you'll come in and sit with us and kick it some more.
Sounds like a winner. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
With it. Quit it.
What?
With it. We about to turn up in this bitch.
All right. What am I winning or quitting today?
11 NBA teams are in the Zion Williamson raffle, also known as the NBA Draft Lottery. The Knicks, the Cavs, the Suns all have 14% chance of getting the first round overall pick in the draft, while the Chicago Bulls are right behind those teams at 12.5%. Joy, Zion should pray the Bulls get the first round pick. With it or quit it?
Quit it.
Well,
I think he should be praying that some other teams don't. I don't know if he should specifically be praying for the Bulls. By the way, I love the NBA Draft Lottery.
You do. Why?
Did anyone hear what I said?
I love the NBA. Such a good joke
because you just said the NBA Giraffe Lottery.
Is that not?
Get it? Giraffe. You just said giraffe. You said it so fast it sounded like giraffe. It really wasn't giraffe though. It's draft.
I am still looking for the difference.
We finally found a word that you say weird. Everyone's always on my case because I say tournament wrong and you say giraffe and draft the same way.
I say so many things wrong.
All right, let me Zion. Why would we say Zion wrong now too?
Zion. Ooh, Zion or Zion?
Zion.
Zion.
Zion Williamson.
I don't know. I'm a little.
I'm not changing that.
So thing going on there.
Enjoy that for the next 15 years. All right, let's break down where Zion is going to go. Start with the Knicks.
Yes.
The Knicks have 14% chance of getting Zion Williamson. Everyone in life should, unless you are a fan of any other team other than the Knicks, or if you just hate fun, you should be praying to all the sports gods, and people in New York are literally praying now that the Knicks get the number 1 overall pick. Because, listen, Zion is a superstar. He is pre-packaged, ready to go, huge following, huge buzz, fun to watch, will sell jerseys, will sell season tickets, will bring huge marketing deals. He's ready to go. Now, what he's going to do on the court, we don't know. But as far as everything else goes, plug and play, and that's what the Knicks need. The Knicks need an explosive superstar. We don't know if KD or Kyrie are coming yet, but if they get the number 1 overall pick tonight in the draft lottery, please, God, please, the NBA is going to change forever. I need the Knicks to be good, and you do too. And here's why: people hate the Knicks, and understandably so. I'm a Heat fan, so I've been with the Knicks forever. But I do respect the brand that is the Knicks. Okay, They are the most profitable franchise in the NBA, despite their years and years of dysfunction, and that's facts. They're worth $4 billion, and they have been the most profitable for the last 4 years, if you can believe that. That's with James Dolan. Now, that said, they do have a completely dysfunctional ownership situation, which I don't love.
Right.
But, you can't have everything. They do have the only all African-American front office in Mills, Perry, and Fizdale, which I absolutely love. And I think that's going to be part of what gets KD there as well. They're a cornerstone NBA franchise. The league will be better if they are relevant, and this is a huge relevancy move for the Knicks. So I love this. I hope this happens. This is what everyone wants happening. This is what's going to happen. What's going to happen.
Everybody wants this to happen isn't considering Zion Williamson and his growth as an NBA player and as a basketball player, because I'm afraid that a market that is too large for Zion will keep him from reaching the full potential he can get to. LeBron James, we saw him be LeBron James because, in my opinion, he went to such a small market in Cleveland. I think get him in a smaller market, just somewhere else. The Knicks is just too big.
No, I disagree.
They get KD. They're going to get KD.
No, they're going to get both. They're going to get everything. It's going to be wonderful. All right, well, who's next?
Cleveland Cavaliers, same chances.
Yeah, so the Cavs also have 14%.
Yep.
I'm so tired of the Cavs getting number 1 overall picks. I'm just over it. I'm tired of it. They've had enough. All right, enough with that. It would be somewhat tolerable because I've already swallowed the initial pill of having to watch Cleveland basketball for as long as I have. So that said, they did manage to somewhat handle LeBron. I mean, they did win a championship. So the Beeline hire, okay. I mean, nobody knows what to expect from him. He was a great college coach. He's never coached in the NBA, which is what I don't love about Zion possibly going here, because it's too much of an adjustment. You're getting a huge superstar, a ton of attention. He's never been an NBA level coach. It's too much. It's too much. I don't think that this is a good situation for Zion, and I'm tired of them getting number 1 overall picks. All right, who's next?
Phoenix Suns.
No. Okay, first of all, John Morant is the fit for the Phoenix Suns, and I don't even want John Morant to go there, okay? At all. Sarver doesn't deserve any more talent. We've got to get Devin Booker out of there somehow. We've got to get him out of there, all right? And if you have any questions or about fixing or conspiracy or anything like that, It should be if the Suns don't get the number 1 overall pick, because I'm going to tell you right now, what Adam Silver ain't about to do is deal with Sarver for the next 5 years. That's what he ain't about to do with his life, okay? He ain't about to be going to Sarver every single day, having to deal with him, text messages and stuff. That ain't happening, all right? So, no, they're not getting the number 1 overall pick. Please don't send him there. And listen, all due respect to Monty Williams, I hope he's successful. But Sarver's still the owner of the team.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So you can talk about all the talent that they have and all that stuff, and that's nice. But ownership is still, you can't overcome that level of dysfunction.
You can't chastise their ownership and then say the Knicks are fine.
No, the Knicks aren't fine, but the Knicks are in New York. And the Cavs aren't fine, but the Cavs have won a championship in the last 5 years. The Suns have not done any of those things. Yeah. So, next.
Chicago Bulls.
I don't hate this because it is the Chicago Bulls. It is Chicago.
Yes.
They have done some winning. Okay. They do have some legends there.
They've managed some superstars.
They have managed some superstars. So I'm okay with this. I was a Bulls fan at one point in my life. I am no longer a Bulls fan, but I would happily watch Bulls games again.
Yeah.
With Ernest, and I think this would be a good place.
Yeah, black popping again.
Yeah, he would look good in the red and black. Who's next?
Atlanta Hawks.
So the Bulls have 12.5%. The Hawks have 10.5%. It kind of goes down, staggering from here. Now, people are going to say boo to the Atlanta Hawks, but I actually like the Atlanta Hawks move because they do have Trae Young, and that's kind of a fun combination there. They would have young, hot talent. It is Atlanta. It's a great city. I don't know. I actually don't hate this. For the teams that have like the lower level percentage chance of getting him, I actually don't hate this move at all. Now, Atlanta fans, sports fans in general, don't have the best reputation of being supportive, but so neither did Miami, okay? And we're good. So I'm totally fine with this move. I would not hate it at all. I still want the Knicks first, but I would not hate this move.
I was saying from the beginning, since we were watching Zion, I was saying that seeing him with Trae Young in Atlanta Hawks, giving like a Shaq, Penny Hardaway type of young duo to pay attention to, because they're going to end up leaving regardless, but let's see them be good for that team.
Yeah, it would be cracking.
Why not?
For sure. All right, who's next?
Washington Wizards.
Shout out to the Capitol, but no. 9%.
And not even shout out to the Capitol.
No thanks.
DC, but other things. Okay, the Dallas Mavericks.
This is a sleeper move here.
Woo.
Okay, now
I like it.
Now they have a 6% chance.
Yes.
But they
Washington
got Luka, who we love.
Yes.
They got Wild Boy Porzingis. Okay. They got Wild Boy Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
and you add Zion into there. I mean, that's like content Napa Valley, which is the closest thing to heaven on earth. So I'm okay with this. I would not hate this at all. I would not hate it.
No, I mean, I couldn't take the takes that you just said, but
Rick Carlisle, it's a good situation
you.
for Zion.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Zion in Dallas is doable.
It is doable.
Yeah.
I would not hate this. All right, who's next?
The Memphis Grizzlies.
Shout out to Memphis, but no.
Yeah, shout out Memphis though, but no. Yeah, and Penny Hardaway. Yeah. New Orleans Pelicans.
Shout out to the city of my past life. I was definitely a voodoo witch before, but no, I cannot allow this either. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And Shams Charania is reporting that the Knicks are interested in trading. If they get the number 1 overall pick, trading the Pelicans for Anthony Davis. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to throw an actual 2-year-old child fit if that happens.
You see Zion in New Orleans?
No, I don't want to see Zion in New Orleans. I just said it. No. Okay, I don't want to see Zion in New Orleans. And more importantly, I don't care about Anthony Davis in New York. Anthony Davis is boring. Can we just say it? Like
So get him somewhere I don't care about, like the Knicks. It's like when Amari Stoudemire went there. I was like, oh, good,
Durant
enjoy.
Is there and Kyrie is there, we have to care about the Knicks. And then you can have Anthony Davis. So that defeats that whole thing.
I watched the Knicks to watch J.R. Smith during that time period. That's how bad. Anyways, next.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
So the Lakers have a 2% chance.
Book it.
Yeah, we skipped the Timberwolves. They have a 3% chance, but no.
I did. I was going to say Timberwolves, and then
it's an honest skip. No.
Yeah, no, it was honest, and I apologize.
The Lakers are obviously that would be incredible content-wise, but to be frank and to keep it simple and short, the Lakers don't deserve this. So no.
To be frank, Joy.
Yeah, to be Frank Vogel.
Hey.
To be Frank Vogel. I did that on purpose. No, they don't deserve it.
Stumble into content. The Charlotte Bobcats.
Shout out to the GOAT, but no, they're not the Bobcats either.
What are they? Charlotte Hornets?
Yeah.
Okay. The Miami Heat.
Now, obviously, this would be incredible for me personally. It would be the greatest thing that happened to me since Disney made a princess that looked like me. Shout out to Pocahontas. But
I thought he was going to go Tiana.
I mean,
Pocahontas look like you. Like that's real.
Pocahontas was the
But
original.
you didn't have to wait that long.
Pocahontas? What do you mean?
You didn't have to wait that long for Pocahontas to come up on the Disney Princess. Like she was right there.
What do you mean? What do you mean I didn't have to wait very long?
Tatiana, it was a long time
First of all,
before we
it was Tiana, not Tatiana.
something like it.
I mean, I don't even know where to break down what you just said. It's Tiana. Have some respect.
Tatiana.
Okay. First of all. Second, that movie came out like 3 years ago. I'm 32 years old.
It was not 3 years, but okay. I got you.
What do you mean? Pocahontas is way older than
least
Tiana.
7.
I don't know what you said. What? Okay, you just completely derailed me.
I'm sorry.
The point is,
Pocahontas
that
thing.
would be incredible. It would be Pocahontas level incredible, but it's not going to happen, so I'm not even going to allow myself to dream. All right, what's next?
The Lakers' offseason has been a disaster. After a month of failed attempts at landing a head coach, the Los Angeles Lakers hired Frank Vogel to a 3-year deal with Jason Kidd also on staff as an assistant and Alonzo Ball whisperer, making the championship for LeBron James very unlikely. Joy, LeBron will still win another championship with the Lakers. With it or quit it?
Quit it. It feels like the end of LeBron, and I'm done with the Lakers.
Let me throw my Hail Mary.
What?
Let me complete the Hail Mary by saying he's going to win. You still have to have faith in LeBron.
No, I don't. And I don't. It's not that I don't have faith in LeBron. I'm sure, like Marcus said, he's going to come back in incredible shape.
Mm-hmm.
As I've been saying since the entire thing began,
Yeah.
the injuries were the number one reason why the Lakers' whole thing fell apart this year. That's obvious because
Right.
they were the 4th or 5th seed and were playing great, trending upwards, and then the injury happened and everybody else got injured.
Yeah.
And that's that. But what's been happening with the Lakers has been astonishingly embarrassing. For an organization of that level,
Yeah.
a brand of that level, and the business side is always thriving, so no one's talking about that. It's not like they're losing money or anything. But this is just an embarrassment. This is stuff that happens in Cleveland,
Don't do
okay,
that.
and Phoenix. Like this is not okay. It's not okay all this is going on. It's absolute chaos. No one knows who's in charge. Jeannie the boss.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeannie Boss has like 17 people advising her. The situation with the coaching search was an absolute disaster and an embarrassment. And if you want to start from the beginning, because everyone just keeps talking about Frank Vogel's their third choice, they didn't fire Luke Walton. It was a mutual separation. So you can start with Luke walking away. Now maybe he was encouraged to walk away, and he's got some other stuff going on, but that was a mutual separation, not a firing. Then you have Monty Williams leaking as your number one guy. You don't get him, which should have been house cleaning situation there. Like if it leaks that you have a number one guy, you got to do whatever you got to do to get that guy. Because then it looks like that guy turned you down for the Phoenix Suns.
That's what it looks like.
Which is what happened. It's not what it looks like. It's what happened.
Okay.
He took the Phoenix Suns job
No, he
over
did.
the Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay. Now everyone isn't motivated by the same thing, but that's a stressful situation. Okay. In Phoenix. Then he took that. Then you have Ty Lue, a situation which you could not have handled worse, completely botched, gave him an embarrassment of an offer, then suggested that he hire Jason Kidd, ultimate setup. Okay. And there
You think he knew? You think Ty Lue is brand new to this?
He's not new. He's been in this.
He was Jason Kidd.
And this, right. And
Yes.
this whole idea that Ty Lue like needs the situation. No, Ty Lue doesn't need anything.
Yeah.
Ty Lue is chilling. He's made millions and millions and millions of dollars. He knows how stressful the coaching situation can be. That's why he took some time off in Cleveland. He's not going to take this setup situation. And it's disrespectful. He won a championship. You're not even going to give him the offer you gave Luke Walton? What's happening? I don't even understand how this happens. How does this happen? I truly don't understand how you can have that many smart people in a room and no one is like, this is what we're doing. Come at me.
There's a motive behind all of it. That's why it's going on.
I would love to hear the motive because it looks like nobody has any control over the situation, and the people that do have the control don't have the ability to go out in public and say they have control.
Shouts out to
Ramesses.
Magic. No, Magic dipped out because he didn't want to. He had too many things to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, he got up out of there.
It's a bad situation. It's not trending in any positive direction. It doesn't feel like anybody's in control of what's happening. No disrespect to Frank Vogel, who seems like everyone likes him and respects him as a coach, but he's on a 3-year deal. He's got Jason Kidd on the bench next to him, which I feel like we all feel like this is a Blatt situation waiting to happen. It just doesn't feel promising to me. It doesn't feel like they did what they needed to do to put the right pieces around LeBron.
Right.
And I don't think they're going to win a championship with him here. And to me, that's a failure.
I think times are dire. I want everyone to remember these times right now for the Lakers and LeBron James in Los Angeles because Kyrie is on his way. LeBron, JJ Redick is going to come. Probably be another old guy shooter.
JJ Redick.
We're getting shooters around. I'm trying to tell you that remember this now, and I want y'all to keep the same energy when LeBron and the Lakers are in the playoff hunt and in the playoffs next year, because that's how much faith I have in LeBron, because you have to. Like, what other? He got Cleveland a championship. Now the Lakers and the front office are going to continue to try to make sure this is the end of LeBron, but LeBron's going to go out there and play basketball.
Right. I agree with you that there should be some slim sliver of hope because he did bring a championship to Cleveland, which I will tell you I believed was impossible.
Exactly, yes.
Because of their front office and because
Warriors.
of the Warriors and all kinds of other mitigating factors. However, the Cavs turned over the franchise to LeBron.
Yeah.
And for whatever you say about LeBron is not dysfunctional. No. LeBron keeps a small circle, and they're about their business, and he did bring a championship to Cleveland. That's why this whole talk about, we don't want to be Cleveland or the West. You should be grateful in your prayer closet that you could possibly be the Cleveland of the West. Because right now, you look like the Phoenix of the West.
Yes. Ooh. And for all those
That's what you look like.
All those LeBron haters, there's a big difference between drama and dysfunction.
Correct.
Yes.
And I'll take LeBron drama over Lakers dysfunction at this point, and you're not getting either one of those. So while I would agree with you that it was possible and that did happen, the Lakers aren't following that formula, and that's why I don't have the faith that I used to have. And I think it's the end. Hear ye, hear ye. Terry Rozier is petty. But I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
He is spilling all the tea on the Celtics. The Celtics got embarrassed by the Bucks.
Yes.
No two ways about it. Gentlemen's sweep. They had finals, if not championship expectations. We've already talked about it. I don't think that Brad Stevens is getting enough credit for not managing the situation, and I think that Terry Rozier is speaking to that. He was on ESPN and said he was asked if they decide to bring back the same cast next season, would he be there? He said, no, I might have to go. I put up with a lot this year. So I said what I said after the season. I think we all know I'm not trying to step into that again. And then when he was talking about Kyrie, he said we had to come into the game and it'd be a different game plan than we kind of expected when we went through in practice. Whatever Kyrie wants done, he's going to show it. You just have to adjust to his style of play. Obviously, in the shadow of some guys, the ball was either in Kyrie or Gordon Hayward's hand. Most of the time, I felt like Terry Rozier was just in the corner on the bench. I appreciate the speaking of yourself in third term.
I love
also,
it. So much context there.
Here's the thing. Terry Rozier did sacrifice a lot this year. I mean, he averaged 16.5 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 5.7 assists. Shot 41% from the field and 35% from three in last year's playoffs. That was without Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. This year, he dropped to 6.4 points and 1.9 assists, and obviously he had way less playing time. And this was the question that we had about the Celtics last year when Gordon Hayward and Kyrie were not available because the team was rolling and they weren't there. So we were like, where's everyone going to fit? Whose time are you going to take away? And you can say what you want about Terry Rozier or what you want about what the Celtics did this year, but they had too much of the same thing. Gordon Hayward needs the ball in his hand to be successful. Kyrie Irving needs the ball in his hand to be successful. Jason Tatum needs the ball in his hand to be successful. Guess what? There's only one ball.
Jaylen Brown.
Okay? There's too much. There's too much of the same thing. There were no roles assigned. Clearly, Kyrie was the guy, but Brad Stevens didn't bother to tell everybody else, like, we're just going to play off what Kyrie does. And sometimes that's just what you got to do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, drop your system. I know Brad Stevens has this impenetrable system, a system for the gods of basketball, but it didn't work out, okay? Yeah. So you got to make adjustments. You have to play with what you have. You have an incredible amount of talent. This was nothing short of a disappointment. I know everyone's going to come at Terry Rozier talking about, like, oh, who's Terry Rozier? Well, they went to the finals last year.
I know, Joy.
Against LeBron.
But the people are saying, who is Terry Rozier, which I am echoing as well. Not in the sense of, like, talking trash about him. He went to Louisville. Shouts out. What I don't like is someone had to take less minutes. Someone had to sacrifice. Sure. I think that whole team sacrificed a lot for this last year. So for him to single himself out in these interviews feels like, feels petty.
I mean, maybe it is, but that's how he feels. And clearly the Celtics had a lot of issues this year because people didn't embrace their roles. And this is the problem when you have this many unproven guys, because everyone's trying to get their paycheck. They're trying to prove themselves while also trying to win. So there's too many dynamics at work here, which comes back to my original point that everybody has to have their role, know what their role is, appreciate and embrace their role. And that is on the leader or leaders in Brad Stevens and Kyrie Irving to do. And then you have Gordon Hayward. So, like, what's his leadership dynamic in there? Like, what role did he embrace? It just seemed like everyone had a problem with the way that Kyrie played. And, like, that can't work if you're going to be successful. And obviously it didn't because it was a complete failure. There's no other way to describe it than a complete failure. Yeah. You can't have expectations like that and end the season that way. They're not going to look the same next year. I actually think they're going to trade for Anthony Davis. Please don't trade. Please don't trade the Knicks.
What do you want? Where do you want Anthony Davis to be?
I would go to Celtics. I'd love him with the Celtics.
Okay.
I'd love him with the Celtics, which is what I think will actually happen. They're going to look totally different next year because Kyrie's either, in your opinion, going to go to LA. I think he's going to go to New York. But there's no two ways about it. The Celtics situation was a failure this year, and it's unfortunate because they really did have a lot of talent.
Keep talking, Terry. We listening.
We are.
It's time for High Key, Low Key.
All right. High Key, Low Key. High Key, Low Key. Sometimes I remember to sing and sometimes I don't.
That's actually the new one. That should be the new drop. Cut it.
Is that it? All right. High key. We missed the NFL because the power ranking lists are starting to emerge.
Yes,
we're getting impatient. And low key, can everyone just stop with the 49ers?
Okay, Joy.
I mean, look, they're going to be better than they were last year, but I feel like everyone's being a wee bit dramatic.
Joy, they lost their quarterback. They're get him out of here. I'm Tom Brady. Get him out of here. I'm getting nervous quarterback.
Yeah. That guy that's played how many games in the NFL? How many full games has Jimmy G played in the NFL? Like 10? 10 full games. 10 full games. 10 full games.
2 handfuls.
Yeah.
This many. That's not a lot. I mean, listen, I believe I said that Jimmy G was going to be a bust. That was my original take. And then I backed off of it because I later learned that Bill Belichick wanted to replace Tom Brady with him.
Yes.
Which made me feel like maybe Bill Belichick knows a few more things about football than me, so maybe I was wrong.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm waiting somewhere in the lukewarm waters of what Jimmy G will become. I don't know. I feel like everyone's being so dramatic about the 49ers.
Fair. We don't know.
Okay, so I say this because Peter King put out his power rankings list, which is just some staggering things on here. So the Chiefs are in first place.
He likes the teams he likes.
One. I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah. The Patriots, the Colts. Now, the Colts are going to be a lot better than they were last year.
Yeah. And they were sneaky good because they
were sneaky
lost all
good
those games.
I don't know. I don't find the Colts to be fascinating, so I'm sort of, I guess, content wishing against that.
Yeah.
The Rams, Chargers, Saints, these are in order. The 49ers are in 7th, but I just think it's just dramatically high.
Yeah.
He has them higher than the Eagles, then the Bears, Vikings, Browns, Ravens, Seahawks, Packers, Texans, and the Cowboys are 16th.
Yeah.
He has the Steelers 18th and the Dolphins 32, which is disrespectful. The Steelers...
Disrespectful.
It is disrespectful. The Steelers are way too low. The Cowboys are too low. The Browns are way too high. Everyone's got to stop tripping off the Browns. And not saying that the Browns are going to be better, because they are going to be better, but the Ravens are not better than the Seahawks, Packers, Texans, and Cowboys. So let's just stop there. And what is this? What is this disrespect for the Cowboys and the Steelers? I don't understand. What happened? It's just some dramatic swings that need to be made in this list here. And the Bears are too high as well at number 9. Too high. Too high.
The Cowboys being in the middle of the NFL is a gift.
Why? No, it's not a gift. We want the Cowboys to be the best team in the NFL.
I know, it's fine. The numbers, they're okay.
No. We want the Cowboys to be the best always. Always the Cowboys. Cowboys and Chiefs are the... Listen, if anyone out there in the universe that has the power to make this happen, please put the Cowboys and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Please, thank you, good night. Whatever gifts or candles, seances, whatever we got to do to make that happen, let us know.
Life sacrifices.
Okay, human or goats, whatever.
Firstborns.
Yes. Is this your way of telling us that you're pregnant?
No,
you're pregnant! Congratulations! It's my favorite joke! It's my favorite joke!
Oh my gosh. It's oddly mine.
You're blushing?
Y'all know the sex yet?
Am I the godmom?
High key, low key.
Okay,
next.
don't make me your kid's godmom. That's a mistake. All right, next, high key. I know pizza.
Okay.
I worked in a pizza restaurant. I have dropped an entire hot pizza on someone's back before.
A veteran in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was rough to talk my way out of. It was an accident. I mean, I'm a clumsy person.
Talk my way out of. She did not get in any trouble for this.
I mean, what can you do? Like, it's dropped. It's there. The pizza's on the back, and it's hot. Like, what can you do?
Woo!
It slipped.
You should put this in your Twitter bio. That is hilarious.
It was the most embarrassed I've ever been in my life, obviously. And there's nothing you can say. And it was a huge table of like 8 people. So obviously all their food was free. Ooh. And
that guy's face.
Because you're not prepared, you know? It's just you're sitting there enjoying your eating, and then all of a sudden there's a hot pizza on your back.
Oh my gosh. One slice, one
oven pizza.
Oh. And so it's crispy, got leaving black char. Just dragging. It's not even floppy. Yeah.
That's a pizza brand.
Oh, man.
It's not my finest moment.
Why we bring up pizza?
Low-key, pizza scissors ends badly. So there's a new trend in New York. New York Magazine called it the newest pizzeria trend. Diners sit down, they order. When their food arrives, it doesn't come out with knives or pizza cutters. It comes out with scissors. I would like for hipsters to stop doing things like this. And
don't blame them for this.
And I don't understand why anyone would want any type of device where they could slice or cut their finger over the pizza.
Okay.
As someone who's handled a lot of pizza and mishandled a lot of pizza, this seems like a bad idea. I'm against it.
They look pretty cool though. Like look at the pizza scissors. You know what I mean? It's just like imagine.
I mean, you got.
Are they like the little kids?
The handle is dramatically raised above the blades.
It's a lot
for not falling and cutting.
You know what? The only thing I want to work for when it comes to food is crab legs.
And wings.
Wings aren't work. You just put them in your mouth and you twist. And at the end,
those are 2 things.
At the end, you pop the entire thing in. You pull with the teeth. There you go. And if you're a real one, you eat the bones. Okay, there's really not that much going on. All right, that is extra. Pizza is meant to be picked up and delivered into the face. So there's not any extra cutting that needs to be done at the table.
For time, I'm not fighting you on this.
What was wrong with cutting pizza traditionally?
I mean,
what is this fix?
I don't know.
What is this
Because people always need something new to do at dinner. Let's put down our phones.
What
should we do with our hands?
I want to be on record.
We'll cut the pizza with our pizza scissors.
I want to be on record that I tried to cut this short, but since we're talking about it, let's talk about it. I don't always feel like the slices are the slice that I'm ready to eat. Does that make sense? Like, I would cut 2 of those. Like, if I had pizza scissors, I would give me a very generous first slice, and I wouldn't even need a bunch of other slices.
So you are just going to take extra pizza slices? What
are you doing with the scissors? It's for curating.
No, it's for people to be extra, okay? Which is why you like this. Normally, I would like this, but it seems I'm not good with sharp things either. All right, and finally, high-key, Snapchat is very innovative. You know, they find ways for all of us to record our faces into the database thing for the man.
Yes.
That is a thing. It's a transaction. No I don't care because anyone who thinks that they're off the matrix, you're just silly. But low-key, I make a very handsome man.
You looked handsome. You looked handsome in the photo. Should we pull it up? Should we let people see it?
Yeah, okay. So over the weekend, I discovered through social media that Snapchat has given us a great gift. You know, they give us gifts. Sometimes they give us the ear ones with the nose.
That's not a gift. It was, but yeah.
Girls love Snapchat filters because they're fun. And they also take away your zits. So that's fine. But they have a new filter where it turns you into a boy. Oh, honey. I mean, I look like my dad, to be honest with you. And the weird thing is that most girls end up looking like their brother. Yes. Ariana did it. She looks like her brother.
So funny.
I haven't seen Ashley. She doesn't want to participate.
Pull up that Post Malone picture.
Ashley did go as Post Malone for Halloween.
Yeah,
which is what it was basically this. Yeah. It was basically this. And then so it's very fun. If you haven't participated, it's worth downloading Snapchat just to do that, and then you can do what you want with it.
Disagree, but continue.
We'll post it. We'll post it.
Yeah,
it's
we
might
as well.
We'll put it up.
Michelle put my face on FaceTime against it. We'll put both of ours up there. We're handsome people still.
True. Yeah. It's just true. Like you're beautiful and I'm handsome. And you know, I've asked my friends for their photos of themselves.
Yes.
Not everyone's handsome.
Yeah, not everyone. Yeah,
it doesn't work for everyone.
That's true.
Like if you are going to be and it's very accurate. Like people who have brothers look like their brothers.
Yeah, they do.
So
Michelle tried it and she looked like her brother.
It's weird, right?
I didn't like it.
It's creepy.
I didn't like it at all.
You wanted to unsee it?
I don't
you know
like
it's weird because Earl wasn't very high on this either.
I didn't like seeing myself. I told Michelle, get this off my screen. I don't see
I love it. I think it's so fun. I mean, loser power rankings.
Loser power rankings. These are the losers of the week.
Oh, the process. Sweet process.
Talk to me.
Sweet process has been processed.
Oh. Yes.
So that was
They
some way.
Chose a different name.
That was some way to end a nickname. Although I gotta say, Kawhi Leonard out here looking like MJ, and I as a zealot, I don't say that lightly.
No, nor should you.
I equivalate.
I like that.
I equivalate.
Talk about what you equivalate.
I equivalate.
What you equivalate with?
Saying people are like MJ to anyone singing Whitney Houston, "I Will Always Love You." Right? You really should not do that. And Kawhi, that shot and that game was very MJ-like, and everyone who adores MJ agrees that's a tough way to lose. But that said, I never really felt like the Sixers were going to win. I've been saying this about the Raptors, and even though the Raptors were basically just Kawhi, he still made it happen. Nobody wanted to shoot at the end of that game, and then he took the shot and blew the Sixers' hearts out. I'm okay with Embiid crying at the end of the game. I know everyone's like, man, you don't cry. You don't have feelings. It's fine. Like, he cares.
You're allowed to cry for the sports.
You're allowed to cry for the sports. I'm okay with it. And the last 3 possessions of that game for the Sixers were just a disaster. I mean, how does that happen? It just all fell apart. They're not going to look the same next year. I don't know if Jimmy Butler's going to be back, although Ford's a lot of money to walk away from. But we'll see. He says he has enough money, so he's maybe going to go where he wants to go. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Tobias Harris. But the process is done. We're done talking about the process.
I mean, honestly, the process ended when they drafted Markelle Fultz. I mean, they should have just kind of given up on the process at that point in time.
Yeah, we're done with the names.
Yeah.
All right, next in loser power rankings is the Saints. Okay, I'm going to say this for one last time because I do adore the city of New Orleans. As I've said, I feel like I was there in a past life and had made some type of monumental movement there.
Right, voodoo.
Maybe. But Gail Benson owns the Saints, and she was giving a commencement speech at Loyola University. I'm missing a word in the middle of there, but we're just going to call it Loyola University.
Was it Loyola?
I don't know.
Marymount? All of them are?
No.
No? Okay.
Anyway, doesn't matter. The point is, she was giving the commencement speech, and she decided to bring up, once again, the no call. Please stop talking about it. You are not the only team that has had a blown call at the end of a game that influenced the rest of your history as an organization. Ask the Miami Hurricanes. It happens. You talk about it. You get angry amongst each other. You don't go publicly complaining about it for the rest of time. That's what keeps your franchise from ever recovering from it. We're tired of hearing about it. Boo freaking who. We were all on your side, and you have abused your right to talk about it. We're done. Have I made myself clear? All right, moving on. Finally, the Rockets. Oh, the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets. We have talked so much about the Houston Rockets, and we have been so right about the Houston Rockets.
I'm just saying.
Can we just give ourselves a hand for how right we've been about the Houston Rockets?
Yeah, just go ahead, because it pains me that the Houston Floppets did it again.
No, it doesn't pain me, because they are not a fun team to watch.
No.
And I like PJ Tucker, and I like Clint Capella.
Yes, I like Eric Gordon.
I like Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy Harden's style of play. And I can give whatever with Chris Paul. All right. But I don't like with the Rockets, how they handled the series in the beginning with the nonsense with the referees and the montage. Just silliness. The Warriors are better than you. And they showed that. And then Kevin Durant, you had an absolute wide open opportunity to crush the Warriors. They were vulnerable. And instead, you decided to lose. They're not going to look the same next year. I think we're done with this. And I also think it's time to talk about the fact that Mike D'Antoni's teams score a lot of points. They have great offense. They don't win big games. That's it. Can someone else say it besides me? Because I feel like nobody's saying it.
He needs to grow that mustache back or something because it's not working.
I don't have a problem with Mike D'Antoni. I just think this is what it is. Like, you get a bunch of buckets. You get great stats in his system. He lets them go out and hoop. And it doesn't work. It's cool. You're in the playoffs. You have some. If you consider that to be success, which clearly he does, because he said a couple years ago, winning a championship doesn't define our season. It does. It does define your season. It actually does. You are going to be known as a team that couldn't get over the Warriors, and nobody cares about that being an excuse, because we're all going to remember Kevin Durant was out, all on his own. Nobody injured him. Calf strain, just running down the court, and Steph Curry didn't score a point in the first half. It was wide open. Y'all decided to lose.
The first half of the Splash got him a 21 in the first half of that game. The other half of the Splash Brothers, 23 or 33 in the other half. Like,
you couldn't even get it to a game 7. It's done. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Daryl Morey said it the best. He congratulates the Warriors after they lose every time, every year, every tweet. And this year he said, when you come at the king, you best not miss. Congrats, Warriors.
Yeah, well, it's true. All right, what's in the Migos Culture Report this week?
In Season 8, Episode 5 of Game of Thrones titled The Bells, here's what happened. Varys told Jon Snow that he should be on the Iron Throne. Jon Snow said, I don't want it. Daenerys told Jon Snow to come over here and get down and dirty. Jon Snow said, I don't want it. Daenerys heard Kings of the Bells and King's Landing and kept killing everybody. Jon Snow said, I don't want it. Cersei is still hard-headed and delusional and dies under some rocks with her brother lover. And Game of Thrones fans watched the entire episode and they screaming, I don't want it.
I
Joy,
feel like you throw a beat under that, and that is
Joy, what did
fire.
you think of the second to last episode of Game of Thrones?
Can you read that back, but only in Bone Crusher voice? No, I'm joking. I
don't
want it. I can't do it.
I don't want it.
What was the question?
What did you think of the second to last episode of Game of Thrones?
So it took a lot. It took a whole couple days of processing for me to reach the same verdict that pretty much everyone else has reached.
I don't want it.
I lost $10, which I don't appreciate.
You lost $10.
I bet that Cersei would win. Although technically, can they pay out yet? Because the season's not over, so she might have survived the brick shower. But
that's what it was.
Here's the problem that everyone has with this, and it's like this. Anytime you're trying to wrap something up, you push everything together. You're trying to wrap it up. All right, throw this in there, throw this in there. And these characters deserve better. And the fans deserve better. And that's why people are complaining and people are upset. No, seriously. Cersei is one of the greatest television villains of all time. She survived everything. She survived the entire show. Okay, her and Jaime. And Jaime with this back to the heel turn thing. I mean, get out of here. All right, you're gonna take down Brienne of Tarth, and then you're gonna go back to Cersei. All right, nobody has time for that.
He's a different type of killer. He's out in these streets.
Right, he's out in the streets. I can't even talk about Jaime. He doesn't deserve any time. The point is, Cersei deserved a real death. She deserved an Arya with the face, the many faces person to come up as Jaime Lannister and stab her in the neck like we all wanted her to. All right, if Cersei is gonna die, she's not gonna die in a brick shower. All right, that's not fair. It's not right. It should have been more elaborate. And for that matter, it's elaborate. If I don't see some many face nonsense with Arya before the end of this season,
killed the Night King.
I want all my time. Oh, she didn't do it as a many-faced person. She just jumped in the air.
That whole season of watching her do that crap was to prove that she could kill the Night King, and we can be done with that conversation.
No, she did that with the training. What do we say to the God of Death? Not today. You just poke him with the pointy end. That was for. I had to watch a whole season with these weirdos with the faces in the hall for nothing.
Yeah.
You better kill someone with another face or explain what all that was for. All right? So the bottom line is this. These characters, they're all falling apart. Everyone's flipping out. The Khaleesi turned out to be bad.
One episode left.
Her whole family's crazy. So what did you think was going to happen? You think she's just going to be like the calm one?
Yeah,
you think they were going to behead her best friends and she's going to burn everyone up and then all of a sudden she was going to decide not to burn everything up? I mean, I hated it just like everyone else, but what did you think was going to happen?
She said specifically to that old lady who tried to marry her daughter to the King's Landing people, I don't want to be the Queen of Ashes. And then she flipped it back. She crazy.
She's crazy.
The Mad Queen.
Well, okay, apple don't fall far from the dragon tree, all right?
Amen.
All I'm saying is this last episode better be the best thing we've ever seen in our entire lives.
What do you want?
I want excellence. I want some sort of... Who is Bran? Why do we have to suffer through all that Bran Children of the North treat people?
Oh my gosh.
I need some explanations, and honestly, the last episode better be 3 hours long with all the explanations for why I've had to sit through those horrible storylines. I better get a payoff on Bran, because I haven't. I better get a payoff on Arya, because I haven't. I better get an explanation for why Cersei just died in some brick shower, and I better get Jon Snow on the Iron Throne, or all of this was a waste of my time. It's very obvious that they've gone off the books.
Joy, these people get paid to waste our time. When I watched it back, I was so mad. I watched it back and I was like, oh yeah, this is all just distraction. Like, this is what it's supposed to be.
No.
This is going to end. Like, what do I want from this?
No.
It's just going to end.
I was explaining, shout out to Amber, I was explaining to my friend on Twitter, because she doesn't watch Game of Thrones, okay? Here's the thing. This is why Game of Thrones is so impactful. This is for you, Heller, okay? Because Heller thinks he's too cool for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's here listening to
Ashley
all
thinks
of this.
he's too cool for Game of Thrones.
Don't care, but I can't get out of the room, so go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so you're going to sit there and you're going to listen.
Yeah.
This is the wrap-up of Game of Thrones, all right? This is the reason why it matters so deeply to nerds like me.
Yes.
Because in order to watch Game of Thrones, you have to be invested of Game of Thrones. Because it's a made-up place, which you have to transport yourself to. The names are impossible. There's 7,000 different characters. They're flashing from forward to back to people that are dead to not dead, people who die, come back to life. They kill your favorite character with no warning. There's all kinds of stuff going on. You have to be invested. It's a very complex, emotional show with very with layers, so you have to be invested. So when it comes down to things like this, where you have millions of people invested in it all together, you watch the end of the show, you want to talk about it with other people. That's what it is.
Okay,
so
the conversation.
People can't figure out, like, why are you guys talking about dragons? Like, it's not about the dragon, okay?
And it's all
about the fact that I've invested hours and hours and hours and hours of my life. I can't get back.
Many hours.
And I want to talk about why these things matter to me. And other people who watch it feel the same way, and that's the best explanation I can give you. It's an investment.
Well, okay, but no,
and I'm not invested, so.
Right, and you're not invested, which is fine. I totally understand it. But you have to understand that if you are watching the show, you have to be invested. It's not like a casual watch.
Yeah, and the thing, okay, and we always talk about the storyline, and people
it's not like Real Housewives.
Right, people think that people are watching.
Last episode, they fought.
Yeah, exactly. The reunion show of Game of Thrones, though, would be great to watch. But at the end of the day, what they're doing cinematically is amazing on screen. The production that they're putting into it, the actors, like the storylines is whatever, but like what you're seeing visually is a work of art in itself. Like they built that town and destroyed it for that last episode. Yeah, like they built it and destroyed it, and they had to put containers up so people in Ireland couldn't watch what they were doing. Like it's an incredible production feat. Yes, it is. That is. I'm glad you said that, because that is the other part of it too. It's not cheaply made. No, it's like a full immersive experience. It's not silly. Yeah, it seems silly when you hear people talking about it, but we've been talking about this long. It seems a bit much. Yeah, but it's an investment, so it's not a waste of time unless I don't get an explanation about Arya. Did you hear about they offered them more episodes in this last season, and they said, "Nah, we good." They offered the creators more episodes, and they was like, you know what? Yeah, give us about 6, and we gonna wrap it up. Honestly, the actors and actresses had seemed like they had enough. Yeah, and they got a prequel that's coming that's probably going to answer a lot of unresolved things. No, not a prequel. Oh, really? A prequel's coming. Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. Is there books for it? No, not the prequel. No, this is all TV, baby. We in here. All right, thanks for joining us this week. Make sure you follow us on our social media pages at Maybe I'm Crazy Pod, Newman Show 99, Joy Taylor Talks. Subscribe on YouTube at the Maybe I'm Crazy Podcast. We are on the iHeartMedia app, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. And then that's us. You can find us anywhere. You know what I mean? Thank you to Marques Johnson for joining us. Legends, and you can follow him on social media, Old School 888. He did dunk. 63. Like that. I mean, it wasn't on someone. Like that makes it seem like he dunked on someone, but he did dunk. Good follow. So thank you to him for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you check out the update on Friday mornings with Brandon Newsman. Hey. If you subscribe on YouTube, you will get that automatically, obviously. And we'll catch you next week. Bye. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not.